Welcome to the Minnesota State Fair. Preview night is held before the State Fair opens for participating and non-participating artists and their friends. So let's get started.
Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair with the artist Jimmy Longoria. Jimmy, can you tell us a little bit about this work? What inspired you?
Well, what inspired me is that a few years ago, the Cheech Marin collection came to Minnesota,
Yes.
and they printed up a ton of advertisements, which is the underlying thing. And then I thought it was great paper, so I took some home, about half a foot stack.
Okay, right.
And then I've been working on them, and this is last year's production.
What kind of a medium are we working in here?
Well, here it's interesting because I'm using enamels, which I usually use on the product I'm really famous for, which is painted shovels.
Oh, really?
One of them hangs in the Supreme Court of the United States.
Wow, that's no good to know.
Yeah, and so the material, which is basically airplane enamel, the little stuff in the bottles,
Okay.
is what I use to go and work on that, and then render an image that comes through on top of an image.
Well, who are these two individuals?
Well, it's called Las Chinas.
Okay.
In Mexican culture, there are certain regions where the people look like they're Chinese because they have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was the idea. And what it is, the idea of them applying for jobs, because most of them suffer from discrimination because of their look. And then to
Well,
put
that's
that
very important to point out this time.
And the thing is that I don't make them bronze or dark. They're in whites.
Wow.
So that you can see it.
That really jumps out at you.
Thank you.
Really?
That's the whole thing. And then the finishing touch is pencil, so there's the detail. And this is my style of working so that it's no solid. I'm out of place with all the realists.
Okay, I hear you.
I'm more of an expressionist,
Oh, wow.
but I'm also collected by someone like Cheech Marin.
Wow, that's
Which-
great.
yeah.
Have you had other works here at the Minnesota State Fair before?
Long ago, I had a very.
But you're back now.
I'm back. Well, I've been real busy. Normally, this yellow shirt is worn in the streets in the Twin Cities, and I work with young people to knock out gang graffiti.
Right.
So
right.
this year was the one year that we really didn't have any projects.
Okay.
And
Hey,
so-
we want people to support art. That's
Well, again, my wife always tells people he's the only artist who takes the money he makes as an artist to go and pay for programming.
Oh,
Because-
excellent. That's good to know. That's great to know.
I'm famous for painting the back of buildings, not the front.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but people know my style and they
Excellent,
recognize
excellent.
it. And then the kids a lot of them have grown up and been doing it for over 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
So some of these kids now have real jobs, and
Great.
they never want to come back and paint because painting walls is very hard work.
Okay, we know. Well, art is a lot of intensive work.
Oh, it
and
is,
dedication.
it is.
You have to feel it. You have to enjoy it, and you have to love it. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
That is correct because the strain. Most people do. Some painters have come up and said, like, "Is that enamel?" Yes. And did you work flat? Because it's hard to keep enamel from running.
Okay.
It's a very runny paint, and if you notice, there are no drips.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Anyway. So-
Okay, well, really appreciate the effort. And what kind of feedback have you received on this piece of art?
Well, my peers have said, "Oh, you finally did something small."
Something we can bring into a museum here.
That's funny. Just recently, I installed some paintings at the Tweed Museum up in Duluth.
All
And
right.
there were paintings that were made for the Bush Foundation.
Okay.
And so they were too big. They're in storage for a while. And the Bush Foundation said, "Can you help us find a home for them?"
All right.
And so they're there. So people can go to Duluth, go to the Tweed. You can see my big work.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Longoria here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah.